So exploring international research opportunities or experiences. So you will be hearing from our colleagues who have seen it actually. So my name is Khalid Garm Mohammed. I'm a lecturer with the Bayero University, Kano, Nigeria, and I will be moderating the program. Before we dive into the program proper, I do have some few announcements to make. First, the webinar is being recorded, so for your consent, you need to know. And then the recording will be available on our website, www.pharmacyscholarinitiative.weebly.com. And you may ask questions and answers while the program is ongoing using the chat box. We'll be regularly checking that throughout the program. And you may also send your feedback about our activities on this particular webinar or any of our activities through the email provided down here. A brief introduction about the Pharmacy Scholars Initiative, which was formerly known as Young Pharmacy Scholars. It is actually a mentorship program or network for pharmacists and other professionals, because yes, in PSI, we do not only work with pharmacists, but we also engage with other professionals with like interest, obviously. So the network is keen in actually career pushing. We try to push ourselves, our colleagues, the like minds, on what is it actually to develop a career in academia or in research and other career development activity. That is what the network is actually all about. And it was founded in 2017. So briefly, we can say PSI is more than 4 years old now. And I'm glad to tell you that PSI is currently registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria. So we have our CAC, and we have membership from around the globe, different parts of the world. Thanks to our founder, Dr. Ibrahim Bakr, who initiated or started this very lucrative and important journey. So the objective essentially of PSI is to first assist young researchers in conceptualization of research idea, designing and conducting, as well as reporting research, because there are obviously some skills related to all of this. So this is one of the objectives, to help young researchers in achieving that and in doing that in the right way. And also to support young researchers on scientific writing skills, proposal writing, thesis writing, and manuscript development. And also to share and discuss educational resources. Of course, these are some of the key objectives. There are others, but these are some of the key objectives of the PSI. So for today's program, essentially, we will be looking at, we have 3 agendas, essentially. First, a short presentation by our panelists, Dr. Basir Lawal and Pharmacist Auwalu Adam Bala. And then the second, we look at the panel discussion, or we entertain questions where you have and drop them, as I mentioned, in the chat box. And also, finally, closing remarks by our chairman of the Academic Planning Committee, Dr. Abubakar Sha'ban. So the line of objectives are essentially 2. First, to understand the relevance of international research collaboration, why international research collaboration, why it is so important. And then second, to discuss how to navigate this international research opportunity, because it is one thing, it can be there, but if you are not aware, you obviously cannot apply or you cannot benefit from it. So it is important to know how to navigate and search for these opportunities. So without much ado, first I will introduce our first panelist in the person of Dr. Basir Lawal. She is a pharmacist and obtained her Bachelor of Pharmacy from Ahmadu Bello University in Nigeria, and master's degree in clinical pharmacy and international practice and policy from the University College London. And then recently she completed her PhD in clinical pharmacy from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. She is currently the lecturer and head of clinical pharmacy department of the Kaduna State University, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and her research interests include patient safety, pharmacy education, international professional education, among others. So, Dr. Basir, the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. and it's a privilege to be participating as a panelist in this webinar. So let me just share my screen now. Okay, so can you please see the screen?
I think it's coming up. Still waiting.
Can you see it now, please?
Not yet.
Oh. What about now, please, Dr. Khalid?
Not yet, but I think in the meantime, let me see if I can.
I hope my internet is not stable.
Let me help you. Can you see the screen of Dr. Basira from me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So if you don't mind, Dr. Basira, I can navigate the slides for you.
Yes, please. Okay. So it's a privilege to be presenting today on the topic exploring international research opportunities. And as earlier introduced, my name is Dr. Basir Lawal, and I'm a lecturer at the Department of Clinical Pharmacy and Pharmacy Management at Kaduna State University. Next slide, please. So I'd like to just share a little on my experience in 2020 during the heat of the COVID-19 period. And it was an experience at University of Michigan, USA, and it was on a research methodology, the Mixed Methods Research Workshop. So towards the ending of 2019, I think I came across through some, I can't really remember, I think it was on Twitter, because usually when I'm involved in a particular research, I try to follow so many handles relating to that research group. I usually spend hours into the night searching for people that are into such kind of research. So I believe it was on Twitter where I saw information regarding this mixed methods research. So coincidentally, I was preparing my PhD research. I was towards the end of my PhD research, actually. And I had even submitted my thesis for submission to an external examiner when I came across this opportunity. I still felt it was proper for me to apply because I was the first person to actually carry out mixed methods research in the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences at Ahmed Bello University. So it was a lot of learning period for me. I spent hours into the night. Sometimes I woke up with headaches because I was just researching so much about qualitative research, mixed methods research. So it was a lot of self-study period. So when I saw this opportunity, I believed it would be an opportunity for me to learn further and gain more experience. So I sent in my application, I think towards the end of January. And fortunately, the application process involves you applying to foundation, and the scholarship was meant to cover everything regarding the work and also the fees for the workshop. So I sent in my application for the scholarship. I think that was towards the end of January, and by April I had received that. I was successful and had received the scholarship. But unfortunately, the COVID-19 had already led to closure of so many countries. So the workshop was converted to an online workshop. And next slide, please. So the McEwen Foundation gift has a goal of bringing the latest in mixed methods research to developing countries to reach critical audiences around the world. And it provides individuals with scholarship from developing countries to gain mixed methods training at the University of Michigan. And it also supports mid to senior level scholars to help craft training programs that meet the needs of women and individuals from developing countries. And also it covers some online training modules. Next slide, please. So the Mixed Methods Workshop was actually established in 2015 by a team of world-renowned scholars and researchers in mixed methods. And it's formed by an interdisciplinary researchers across the University of Michigan campus, and they have a goal of training researchers and academics to use mixed methods research. You know, especially for us in pharmacy, we're so much used to quantitative research, and now gradually we are moving into qualitative research. So mixed methods research also uses a research paradigm that looks at how we can combine quantitative and qualitative research. So some of the leaders of the workshop are Michael D. Fetters, who is the director of the program. And all these three leaders were actually very much involved in the training. And it was a privilege to actually, I was amazed that I had these world famous researchers personally being tutors to myself, especially Michael D. Fetters, who was the tutor of my breakout group. And it was really amazing how we kept communicating through emails, sending him my research proposal, giving me feedback, and we kept making corrections through the period. Next slide, please. So actually, after one had been given the opportunity to be a participant at the workshop, we were provided with a lot of information regarding how to register as students under the University of Michigan Canvas group. So up to now, actually, I still receive a lot of information from the Canvas site of the university because we were considered as students and we're given access to that. Then workshop materials were provided to us in time. Okay, next, workshop materials were provided to us in time. There were a lot of study materials we went through. So the workshop itself was actually just about 3 days. On the first day, it was more about introduction. It was a full day workshop, actually. There were so many hours, and we used Zoom for the workshop, and there were also some breakout sessions. And before the workshop, we were actually sent a proposal about the research work we were working in. So although I had already submitted my PhD dissertation for examination, I still felt, yes, I should still submit that proposal. And actually, with the way that the corrections were made to me, I was like, wow. I was amazed, but I was like, okay, I have already submitted. It wasn't anything I could do else, but at least I would use that information to improve on my knowledge on mixed methods research and also be a better researcher. So there were a lot of breakout sessions where we went into smaller groups and we were guided by an expert in mixed method research, which was what I said. Michael D. Fetters was my expert was the tutor for my group. And the third day, we also prepared virtual poster and we had a poster presentation and there were corrections made and more feedbacks were given. Next slide, please. So some of the take-home points is that you need to search extensively for opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities there, especially if you are working on a research area. Now, social media has made it easy for us to see information. I think when I was just like, okay, let me just type mixed methods research. I'll just see on the internet, okay, who are working on mixed methods. Sometimes you'll just see a pop-up about a scholarship or a training or a workshop. And then you try to see, okay, are there opportunities for scholarships? If there are, you then apply. And as I said, you need to apply for multiple opportunities. You never know where you will be successful. And even when applying, you may see that, okay, there are maybe 10 points, 10 requirements, 1 or 2 requirements, maybe you feel are above you. You don't have maybe a particular qualification for that. It still is not harmful for you to still apply. You may try your luck. Sometimes the mindset I use in making some application will be like, okay, I could be the only Nigerian applying. That could be an edge or an opportunity for me to get into. Or maybe, yes, I'm a female. It's a possibility I'll get that. Then you need to package and sell yourself well. You don't need to feel like you are below or you don't have that capability or qualification. It's all about packaging yourself well. You need to blow your own trumpet, if I could say that. Then also curiosity, you need to be curious. And then there are a lot of gender opportunities. I remember when we were applying for this scholarship for this mixed methods research, I needed my supervisor to provide a recommendation letter. So one of the things he actually mentioned was that we need to clearly highlight that you are a female, you are in northern part of Nigeria. We need to sell that point to show how we need to encourage ladies to get such opportunities. So ladies, it's an ideal time for us to use that the opportunity for us being females to apply for opportunities. But there are a lot of scholarships I even mentioned clearly. Females are encouraged to apply, so let's use that. Then also you need to learn how to send cold emails. Sometimes you may see opportunities, just get the email address of the professor or other leaders of that research. Use most especially your institutional email address to send such cold emails. And of course, you need to pray over it as well. Next slide, please. So on this page, I just played, just highlighted some of the places where you could search for these opportunities. As I said, I use Twitter a lot. On Twitter, you see a lot of opportunities. It's just for you to be curious enough to go through it. Then also, depending on your research area, you should join the professional groups. Since I started my PhD, I knew I was working on something related to patient safety. In short, I became a member of the WHO Patient Safety Network. There are so many world leaders involved in WHO that are in that group. Whatever opportunity is gotten, they send it to that network and you see it. Then there's also the health information for all. This is also something that everyone, I believe, in the health line should join. Even last week, I had an opportunity to be a member of there's this Afro PHC, which is the Afro Primary Healthcare. I got that information from this search for health information for all. There are so many information shared daily from that. Then FIP, as a pharmacist, every FIP, but also there are so many opportunities shared. There are also websites like opportunitieschool.com. There are also, they send scholarships, PhD positions, postdoc fellowships opportunities. There are also some very well-known fellowships, such as the Fulbright Fellowship. There's the George Foster Research Fellowship, which is open right now for applications. And there's the WARA Travel Residency Fellowships, which is also open right now for application. And then, of course, friends that share for the benefit of others. Even through PSI, I know there are a lot of information being shared. It's just for you to always be inquisitive enough to click on that link that is shared. If it's fine and you have the opportunity, apply for it. So I think this is the end of my presentation. And I will be glad to attend to any questions that you have. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Basira, for sharing this very, very rich, well-rich information. Of course, I can't agree more with the fact that social media has now made it so easy for us to grab a lot of opportunities, a lot. If they say a lot, I mean really, really a lot. So it is up to us to make good use of it. They say there are two different sides of using social media, either the positive part of it or the other way. I cannot call it the negative, but you understand what I mean. So thank you so much. Definitely, if you have any question, please forward it to the chat box, and we can be able to answer the questions at the end of the program, the presentation of our panelists. So now let's go to our next presenter, our second panelist. Okay. I think I need to, Awal Bala is sharing his screen.
Yes, can you see it or not yet?
Yeah, but I need to make an introduction first. So can you kindly please stop sharing and let me?
Yeah, all right. Just trying, just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Yes, here we go. Are we together? My screen
Yes.
is
Yes.
perfect.
Yep.
So here is our second panelist, pharmacist Auwalu Bala. Shall I call you Dr. Auwalu Bala? He actually obtained his Bachelor of Pharmacy degree and MBA from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. The good thing is both of our panelists, Dr. Basira and Dr. Auwalu, they were both my classmates at Ahmadu Bello University, though I had to switch from the class of the other to the other one. So this is a story for another day. He is a PhD candidate at the Department of Pharmacology and Therapeutics of Bayero University, Kano, and was, of course, a visiting scholar at the National Natural Toxins Research Center at Texas A&M University, Kings Valley, and currently a lecturer at the Department of Pharmacology, Federal University, Dutse, Nigeria. Of course, his research interests are in the field of toxinology. For those of us that don't know much about toxinology, if you like, you can forward questions about that. So he is specializing in venom and antivenom research. So it is my pleasure to welcome Auwalu to share his experience with us. Auwalu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Khalid. Let me attempt sharing the screen before Dr. Shaban.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, can you see
Perfect.
my screen?
Yeah, we can.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
Okay, good. Dr. Shaban, I'm good to go.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay. Can you see is it in a presentation format?
Not
Yeah,
yet.
you are trying to do that, I think.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do that. So before it opens, thank you, Dr. Khalid, for the introduction. Due to time difference, I'm going to say hi to everybody. You know, some are in the morning, some are in the evening now. Thanks to Dr. Basira for sharing a lot of opportunities for international research and training. And I'll talk a little more about that, and then I will dwell more on how to explore these opportunities, focusing on my experience in the United States. So, so this slide will talk about research and training opportunities based on my experience. As you can see, I have quite a couple of skills during my research visit. So there are basically two ways. This is just my own classification to have a research, international research experience. One of them is studentship. You can do international research as a student. I'm sure Dr. Khalid and Dr. Basira will know more of this aspect of international research. As undergraduates, you can actually do international research in foreign university and even in our local university. Currently, I'm working with an undergraduate student that's working on venom in a group that has research collaboration externally. So from undergraduate, she's already having contact with international researchers. And then you can also study in a foreign university and participate in a research group that are collaborating with others. And then the graduate students, postgraduate students at the UK college, you can do MSc and PhD, which are basically research training at different levels with the aim to earn a degree. So most PhDs and MScs, you key into projects, and most times these projects, they actually are onto some grants that are not just within a single university, probably one or two universities in different continents or different countries. So with that, you get to know a lot of people as a student, and you get to learn a lot of skills from different perspectives and different backgrounds. However, today we're going to talk about active researchers, like independent researchers, PI, kind of postdoc. Um, if after, that is after your training as a student, or when you're a clinician, when you're conducting research. So that is what I mean by active researchers. So let me quickly talk about international grants. As an active researcher, you can apply for international grants from different donors that fund research to address specific problems, as mentioned by Dr. Basira, with so many examples. So independently, you can have a proposal, you can propose to different donors. It can be international organizations, it can be companies like the pharma companies or the agriculture companies. And there are a lot of opportunities. Dr. Bashira told us so many that she came across from Twitter to Facebook and other social media. And how to explore them is to see the procedures on how to get these grants. And as an independent researcher, either a postdoc or a clinician or a professor, you can propose your own study and you may get a grant. A lot of people I know in um, my university, they got international grants and which leads to collaboration with other international researchers. Visiting professorship as a professor or a postdoc, you can visit other professors that are doing the same kind of work you do in different universities in different continents. Like I know some of my professors, they visit countries in South Africa, in the UK, in the US to do research with professors in their field of interest. Visiting scholar, even if you're not a professor, even if you're a student that are doing a research or an independent researcher, a private organization, you can collaborate with other researchers outside your country and visit them as a scholar so that you can do research and either impact some training on them or learn some things from them or in both ways. And there are visiting students, like some universities do have some kind of relationship between one or two universities where students can be able to travel to other universities and get some skills for some months or up to a year and come back to continue his or her programs. Like I know there are such collaboration between the National University of Singapore and some United States universities, such as University of Chicago, where students can interchange and visit and learn skills. And I'm not sure if you do have such in Nigeria, but I know a student can visit other universities outside the country or even outside the continent to learn some skills. And that's where we're gonna focus on visiting scholar for the sake of this short seminar. Visiting scholar, we'll see how you can explore this opportunity. So I'm going to talk based on my experience. That is the United States of America. There are other opportunities elsewhere in Asia, in Australia. But for today, we're going to focus on the USA. So this is the Fulbright Scholar Program, as mentioned by Dr. Basira. This is a program currently being explored by a lot of Nigerians. To either study in the US or pursue a postdoctoral fellowship, or even for just a few months or few years training. So it's open to postdoctoral fellows, that is, you have your PhD either in Nigeria or elsewhere. You can key into Fulbright program. There has been a lot of advertisement from the US Embassy on this. You see it on their Twitter handles, you do it on their Facebook pages. You can explore that after this program. And it's not also just for PhDs. Academics who are not even PhDs can explore that to get some training, either teaching methods or like research methods as mentioned by Dr. Lucia, and even university administrators. So these opportunities are not closed to only those in academics. They also open for administrators to learn skills from their counterparts in the United States, and including teachers, especially cultural teachers, to learn some skills and sometimes to teach in the United States, and including specialists in the healthcare, doctors, pharmacists, nurses, and other healthcare can apply to go to a United States institutions or universities to learn some things and come back and impact that knowledge to their country. So that is Fulbright Scholar Program. You can look up to that on the US Embassy. There are a lot of positions there, and then I think currently they advertise for the 2022-2023. So, but for my experience, we're going to talk about grant-based visiting scholar. That is not following through the Fulbright Scholar Program. You can also visit the United States as a visiting scholar. And this is how it works. Sometimes you may have personal grants from relatives, from your own money, or from scholarship institutions in Nigeria. And sometimes it may be collaboration with, if you're a student, with your supervisor, if you're a researcher in a team, or maybe with your PI, that's principal investigator. So if you have that grant, you can talk to your counterpart in the United States that works in an area where you have interests, that have expertise there. So you can collaborate with it, you can talk to them to see how you can travel there to either impact your skills on them or learn skills from them. And once you're accepted by them, the US Embassy will facilitate that so that you can visit the United States as a visiting scholar. And another way, the host professor in the United States institutions can invite you to visit their institutions to either impact skills on them or learn some skills from them. And that way you can apply through the United States Embassy, and then you can visit the US as a visiting scholar. And then resident university fellowship. This is mostly for academics. If you're into the university, sometimes your university may decide to sponsor you to visit an institution in the United States, or to visit a university, or even a hospital or training institutions to acquire skills. This way, the United States also, embassy also can facilitate your visit as a visiting scholar. And federal government scholarship, they also sponsor academics and sometimes even private individuals to learn some skills in the United States. There are such institutions include TED Fund, PTDF, federal government scholarship, and so on. So even if you don't get accepted through the Fulbright Scholar Program, which is currently ongoing, you can also visit the United States as a visiting scholar to learn some skills or to impart some skills, either as a professor or even as a graduate student or even an independent researcher. So the visiting scholar, my experience, I had the opportunity to explore to get some training, research training from the United States institution through grants and scholarship. So how it works, there are three categories of visiting scholars into the United States institutions. A short-term visiting scholar, you can visit the United States for 3 to 6 months. A research scholar for 2 years, and a visiting scholar for 5 years. And this visiting is also renewable. That is because research is something that is ongoing. You can visit and learn some things, and from there you can build up a relationship, or you may start some work that need to be finished. That way you can renew it. So you can apply as a short-term scholar, research scholar, or visiting professor, depending on which part works better for you, or your employer, or your host professor. So what are the eligibilities for to get this opportunity as a short-term scholar, research scholar, or visiting professor. So you need to be in active research, because you need to keep up with what is going on with your counterpart in the United States, or at least to have some background knowledge of what kind of research is going on, so that you can be able to key in. That is the essence of collaboration. What are the current trends that are going on? Even though I believe in our certain developing countries and Nigeria, we have some setbacks with regards to instrumentations, and I'm talking about the biomedical research. But there are things you can do to keep on with the current trend, so that you can be able to key into programs and projects in the United States. And you have research affiliation. It usually works better when you are affiliated to an institution in Nigeria. So that way, there will be a seamless relationship between you and your institution, and your host professor and their institution. And then you have to be visible enough. Visibility is usually the best way is through publication. You get to communicate your findings, the little research you have done, and that way people can be able to see what you're doing, and they will be able to see if they can decide to give you more training or even learn some skills from you. So as you can see, I was working at the Biotechnology Center at the Bayero University, Kano, as a PhD candidate. I'm still a PhD candidate. When I did some, I acquired some skills from the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicines, and then I applied them as part of my PhD. And from there, I say, oh, let me start looking around. How can I collaborate with other researchers elsewhere? I looked through Asia, UK, and the US. I sent a kind of a proposal requesting training from professors in Singapore, in the US, and in Malaysia. And luckily enough, all of them were willing to accept me, and they invited me to visit their lab and acquire some skills. And I happened to choose the United States of America, where I work at the National Natural Toxin Research Center, Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Is a research institution dedicated to my area of research. This is what I was talking about. You have to look at where people work in a field that is where you have interest, or where you're working on. So I was able to be accepted by my host professor, Dr. Elder Sanchez at TAMOK, and I had the opportunity to learn some skills on some cutting edge research, tissue culture, and a lot of other things. And I applied as a visiting scholar. I was accepted, and the United States were able to give me permission to visit the United States as a visiting scholar. So in summary, I mentioned Dr. Basira talked a lot about opportunities, and I just summarized 2 ways you can explore them in the US. There are other opportunities elsewhere which we may talk about in the future. But in the US, either the Fulbright scholarship program, or you can visit as an independent researcher through your institution, through a host professor, and all you need to do is to package your research to be visible and to be in the current trend, and then request for training or request as a visiting professor through another professor or a researcher that have the same research interest. So this is where I worked. Dr. Sanchez, here is the director with other colleagues that I work with, and I acquire a lot of skills from them that I'm sure are going to help me going forward as an early career researcher. So in summary, let me stop here and thank you for listening. I know I've taken a lot of time, Dr. Khalid.
That's wonderful, Awal. That's really, really wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this very, very exciting experience with us. Of course, you make a very important summary of it all. The fact that one needs to package himself. Dr. Basira also mentioned something about that. How you package yourself is very important, very, very important. And publication and visibility, because sometimes it is one thing to publish, but it is another thing also to make it visible. How visible are you? As an early career researcher, those research sharing avenues, ResearchGate, Google Scholar, they are all important. They are all important because they make sure that your research is really visible, not only to your community, but to the global community. And that is what a real researcher should aim to achieve. How you package yourself, how you sell yourself, and also the type of research you are into. Whichever area of research you are into, understanding the cutting edge area at the current moment, 21st century, is very important so that you can go along. If, for instance, our Bala's research is not very related to what is going on in the United States of America, you can imagine how are they going to accept him? I mean, to go and do some part of his research. So it is important to actually take note of also what kind of research is going on globally, so that you can also be in that loop. So I don't know, Dr. Shaaban, Awal, can you stop sharing your screen so that I can be able to share my screen? And please, our participants, don't forget to share your questions with us so that we can be able to attend to them. Now we are into the question and answer, or the panel discussion session. My co-moderator, if I may call it so, Dr. Shaban, are there questions from the audience that you think we can entertain?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Khalid, for the opportunity. Really, I think from the chat box, I've not seen a question, only remarks. Yeah, only remarks, and then the request for the recorded session, which I have notified them that it will be available on our website, and also people can provide their email. We can equally share the link to that. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Shaban. With that, I think we have to thank the presenter. It means, because if there are no questions, in most cases, it means the presentation is very, very easy to understand and people grab most of it. So if the audience doesn't have much question, I think we do have some question, or personally, if I may call it this way. The first question goes to the two of you. I will start with Awal Bala. What actually motivates you to search for an international research opportunity? Can you share with us the key motivator or motivator?
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Khalid, for these questions. Actually, the key motivator, I will start talking about what motivates me into research, and then why what's motivated me into to explore international research. Initially, at the beginning of my career, I was an industrialist, and then I came across a research that actually motivates me to love the venom anti-venom research. So I was into venom anti-venom research. I was doing the research in Nigeria, and then I see there are a lot of things to do. I want to do more. Is a problem that we have from my home states in Nigeria, and I don't just want to be reading, getting information or knowledge from elsewhere while the problem is mine. So I want to be part of the solution. And I believe solution approach individuals are always successful. So I want to be part of the solution. How will I be part of the solution? And there are some kind of research that need to be done. And like I mentioned earlier, instrumentation is a key limitation to a lot of researchers in Nigeria. It's not a hindrance, but it's a limitation. And I say, while I'm doing what I'm doing here, maybe I can go and acquire some skills elsewhere where they have a lot of instruments and skills. That was what motivated me to start looking. And I talk with my advisors, mentors here in Nigeria. They say, oh, is it good to go? So I start looking who are in the forefront of research in Venom. So initially I was thinking, no, these guys may not even want a PhD student. I'm not even yet a graduate. So I just say, let me do it anyway. I talked to then the current president of Society, International Society on Toxinology, and I got a positive response. Within a few weeks, he invited me to his lab. I talked to the secretary, Dr. Sanchez. Within a few weeks, I talked through a colleague that is based in the United States. And with a good reference, within a few weeks, they invited me. So I want to do, I want to do more. I want to be part of the solution of the problem, part of the solution providers. That's what motivated me to start looking
That's
for
awesome.
international.
That's awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, you have heard it. He wants to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. That's really, really, really enticing. Thank you so much.
Part of the problem.
Thank you so much. I will throw the same question to Dr. Basira. Please, can you share with us what actually motivates you into searching for international research opportunities? Thank you.
Okay, so maybe I would call myself a go-getter. Like, I think maybe because of I had my master's degree from the UK, so I thought that when I came back to home, maybe the challenges of our education, we have some of our educational challenges, and during my PhD, I found out like there were a lot of self-learning that I had to do a lot of things by myself. I wasn't even sure, was I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? So with that, I was like, okay, maybe if I search for opportunities, I would go and learn better. And honestly, what I learned was like, sometimes I don't even want to pick up my thesis to read it, because after the opportunities I got, I was like, wow, I don't even want to read my thesis because I had already submitted it when I got that opportunity. So I would have wished that I had applied all those things before I had submitted my thesis for examination. So it's just like, especially, and when I'm interacting with some of my colleagues, especially those that are in the lab-based programs, for example, in the pharmaceutical chemistry, pharmaceutics, they always complain that we don't have some equipment in our laboratories here in Nigeria. So it's usually, that's a motivating factor to get international research opportunities, to visit some other labs, to carry out some lab component research work, since we are deficient in some equipment here back home.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, you actually remind me of something very important. I think globally, being curious about research is very important, because I remember my experience in Europe. They are so proud. I mean, European, they are so proud. The research community in Europe, they are so proud if, for instance, they are doing their PhD, and like it's mandatory for them to spend at least 6 months to 1 year outside their university. I mean, the university within their country. They can go to any other university within Europe or US. So that moment is like a happy moment for them. So this simply tells a lot that research collaboration is not only beneficial to us in Africa. I mean, the Africa region, that we have some limitation, but it's based on the understanding that you cannot have everything in your lab. If you want to do a meaningful research, you need to collaborate. Yes, there is a particular aspect of your research that needs the speciality of some others, that is their main domain. So you need to collaborate so that you can understand that aspect of your research much better. So I think these are very important. I'm very glad we are sharing this. I have seen one question from one of the audience. She's saying, I think, yeah, for Dr. Basira, Nabil Nasir, I think that is the person asking the question. I don't know if a male or a female name. For Dr. Basira, how can we join professional groups? How do we know they are professional? I hope you get the question, Dr. Basira.
Yes, I get it. Okay, so I think depending, I don't know what, if you are a pharmacist, I think for all of us pharmacists, we know that, okay, we have, for example, in Nigeria, you have the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. Then you have other interest groups, such as, for example, as an academic, I'm a member of NAPA. And through that as well, we also get information on research opportunities, especially through WhatsApp groups. Then for any pharmacist in the world, I believe we all know about the FIP. I'm sure Dr. Khalid can explain better. He's the FIP guru. So FYP, although for joining FIP, you need to pay yearly, but it's still worth it, because I'm sure, as I said, Dr. Khalid can provide more opportunities that are related to FIP. With FIP, even there's this courses available in which, being a member, you get opportunity to take those courses. So I think FIP is something that is worth it to join, and it's a real valid professional group. It's well known. Then, for example, the other ones I mentioned that I'm a member of, for example, the WHO Patient Safety Network. We all know that cannot in an extra effort to search. Whenever you see a group, go to the website, do a detailed search. You should just spend so much time, search through it, see the persons involved, see if it's a free membership, you just send in your details and apply. And most of the times, they usually will be sending you updates. And when you subscribe to the information, you will keep seeing information being sent to you. I think it's quite easy these days with the internet to see all these opportunities, and especially with the professional groups.
Thank you so much, Dr. Basir. Yeah, I think you said it all, and there are a lot of benefits of being a part of a professional association or organization. I can't agree more. I have benefited a lot from being a unionist. So I will encourage our colleagues to actually try to do that. Join professional association so that you can explore other opportunities. Yeah. Well, we do also have some question. A question from I think Ismail Nasru. He was asking or saying, as a young aspirant researcher, I request you to create a forum, WhatsApp, Facebook, or ATC, etc., where you will be mentoring us about research and selecting some of us to contribute in some of your research as co-authors. This will go a long way in understanding what research is about. Yeah, I think this is a challenge or a comment to the PSI. I believe the president and all the key stakeholders of PSI are listening. So I think this is something very important that the PSI needs to look into. Thank you so much, Ismail, for this question. We will definitely look into this. So we move to the next question I have, or we have. I throw it to Awal again first, but you need to answer this one in 1 minute because we are running out of time. How will you summarize your experience working in an international lab while studying back here in Nigeria? So in 1 minute, yes.
Oh, it was a great experience, to summarize it all. As a student in Nigeria, I mixed up what I was doing here and some of the things I used to only see on papers. I was able to do them and even learn how to do them. So it was a great experience learning from senior colleagues and even students. You say 1 minute, you have confused me, Dr. Khalid. So I will try and summarize. In a nutshell, it was a great experience, and it's something doable as Nigerian, especially graduate students. We shouldn't be thinking that we are limited, that we cannot do anything because we lack instrumentations or facilities. We have a lot to do. I improvise on so many things. I visit some laboratories where I was the first to start some protocols because, like I said, I want to be part of the solution. And luckily, I mastered those protocols when I visited the United States. Good enough?
Thank you so much, Howard. Yeah, your time is up. I think we get to the key component is you have learned a lot of what you were not able to learn while in Nigeria, if I get the message right. And we should not be limiting ourselves. Sometimes we need to explore. I think that is the key message. Dr. Basira, do you agree, or you have something different to add to that?
I totally agree.
Perfect.
I totally agree.
So we move further, right? The next question, this one to Dr. Basira first. Are there any websites where one can get information about these opportunities I've been talking about?
Yes, I think I've shared some of the websites on my slide.
Okay, yes.
As I said, especially, I think every graduate or aspiring graduate student should always follow afterschoolafrica.com. Like almost daily or after every 2 days, there'll be new information about scholarships that are open, those that are about to be closed, fellowships, contests, so many things. Like you just can't miss that information if you keenly follow those websites. And also, I think I shared opportunities for all. I think, yes, I think those two websites are okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Basira. And I think also this Fulbright opportunity is on. I think they just opened the application 1st of this February. And I have seen our president, Dr. Jato, share the link to Fulbright so colleagues can actually key in and check the Fulbright scholarship for US is very, very important.
Yes.
And I believe Auwalu Bala. Yeah, go ahead.
I think for Fulbright, there's usually, I know I had applied for Fulbright about 3 years ago. That the problem is that one needs to submit through, is it a nominating agency, and which happens to be here in Nigeria. I think the Nigerian embassy needs to nominate you. So I think if there's anyone that's clear about it or knows better, could maybe inform us, please, regarding the nominating agency for Fulbright.
Fulbright, okay. So thank you for that information also. Auwalu Bala also have shared some relevant information about the website or the opportunity. So even if you don't have the website, all you need is to type the name of the program. I believe you can be able to get to the website.
Sorry, one more thing on that, Khalid.
Yes, I will.
One thing that is very important, you need to identify what you want to do. I'm talking about research area. I know this is what I want to be doing, research area. Then one thing that I recommend, you follow people in that research area. And that way you get a lot of information about. Recently, one of my senior colleagues sent me an opening in venom anti-venom research. So because you connect with the people, there are certain information that circulates immediately among them, and you can be able to get either website links or even link to applications. So connect, collaborate with people in your research. You don't have to be friends or to know each other. You can follow someone on Facebook, on Twitter, so that informations they share, you can be able to see and try to explore.
Thank you so much, Auwalu. I can't agree more. Yes, you need to connect to the right people. You need to connect with the right people. The next question is about materials or documents, or obviously the application document that one needs. What material or document does one need to actually get ready, maybe for applying for such opportunities? Dr. Basira, can you shed light on this?
Okay, so I think firstly, an international passport, because you'll always be asked to upload a copy of your data page. International passport is really important. If anyone doesn't have international passport, I think it's important to have it and just keep it aside. You never know when an opportunity could come up. Then also a recommendation letter. If you are going as a student, you need to have a recommendation letter from your supervisor. If you are going, for example, as a visiting scholar, you need to have a recommendation letter from your superior, for example, your head of department or your dean of faculty. Then also you need to prepare a proposal. Most opportunities, you need to prepare a proposal clearly stating what you're going there to do. Then also, I think if you're a student, you need to show that your status. your status as a student. You need to clearly get that letter from your department that you are currently a student.
Well, thank you so much. This is very rich enough. I believe our audience will be able to look into that. And then I think we are coming to the audience. Let's quickly run to this. How can one apply for a P waiver, for instance, for some workshops or short courses? Even some applications, sometimes you see that there is a fee attached to it. So how can one go with respect to getting a waiver for such kind of Dr. Basira?
Yes, I feel confident enough to ask for it. I always say I ask, honestly. Anytime I see something, I always ask. Sometimes I send an email to the contact person asking if there are fee waivers, because we need to identify that we are in a country that is classified as LMIC.
Yes.
So even if they don't clearly indicate that there's a fee waiver for LMIC, it's just an participants coming from LMIC. Sometimes it's clearly stated there. So you just send in an application and indicate that you are from an LMIC country. But if it's for example, for conferences, the conference I attended, which I applied for a fee waiver, and it's usually given to students, and it's an international conference. So I just needed to get a status letter from the department indicating that I was currently a registered student undertaking a PhD. So after I sent that letter, I got my fee waiver.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing this. So you have had it, colleagues. You need to be confident enough to just ask. Remember where you are coming from. I mean, the part of the world you are coming from. So you just need to express yourself. We have got some couple of questions from the audience. For instance, this one is from Dr. Ibrahim Jato, who was asking about could you please share with us any challenges you faced during the planning process of the process and the program? So are there any challenges you faced while preparing to move to the program and then during the program? So was there any encouragement you got from your local institution? I mean, from institution you work with, I mean, from Nigeria. And then lastly, he was asking about how feasible was translating your acquired experience knowledge to your local institution. That is after you finish and return. I hope you get the questions, our panelists, Dr. Awal.
Yeah.
So Awal, can you go first, please? You have 1 minute.
Again?
1 minute for each question, so 3 minutes.
Okay. So on challenges, let me talk particularly on my experience. Honestly, the Nigerian challenges it has to do with the US procedure of doing things. A lot of paperwork. You need to fill this form, submit this form, and along the way, sometimes things changes. And one of the challenges in Nigeria, paperwork doesn't, pass through so easily or within the time you require. So sometimes you may start working towards a proposed date, and then that day will come to pass and the paperwork has not been done. So getting things together, the paperwork from your institution through the embassy is challenging. But eventually it gets through, and I see the importance after I visit the United States. And then one of the major challenges in the United States is the acclimatization, the weather. So it was tough trying to adjust and while trying to do research, because I was a student back in Nigeria, I have to make sure I achieve a lot of things so that I can be able to finish my program back home. And so I have to couple adjusting with the weather and then doing a lot of lab work. Sometimes I have to transfer from different labs just to get conducing temperature, so to say. So in summary, so and the next question is about translation
Any
of
encouragement from your local institutions while planning your trip?
oh wow, a lot of encouragement. Yeah, sorry to boast, my institution is a super young institution. They encourage a lot of young career researchers and including funding. So a lot of encouragement, and your institution plays a role actually, because there are other institutions where it may be frustrating getting the kind of encouragement I got from my. So that is good.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. The last is how feasible was with translating your acquired experience back home? The experience, the knowledge, how feasible and easy to translate them back home after you return?
Okay, honestly, it's feasible, but it's not easy. Yeah, it's feasible to do some of the things. You even if you travel, there are certain things you can do 100% in one facility. So, however, there are a lot of things that we can do, but we think we can't do them. So when I came back, I applied some of the skills I got. I tried to look for facilities here and there, and I found out there are certain things we can do. Some of by technical techniques. And why it is not easy, you might have to be moving around from one institution to another, or from one research lab to another. However, you can implement. I walk around Kaduna, Kano, Jigawa, Lagos, just to make sure I have the instrument I want. But it's feasible to, if you are ready to sacrifice by spending your personal money to acquire consumables to work, because some institution maintaining consumables is the real challenge. And because of that, honestly, I'm currently working with my supervisor to co-supervise other students, and including undergraduate, masters, and PhD students, so that they can be able to use some of the skills I acquired.
That's
so it's
nice,
feasible, but yeah.
Feasible but challenging.
But challenging.
So, Dr. Basira, do you have something to add to these three questions? I hope you got the questions. First, is there any challenge you faced during planning your trip? The second, was there any encouragement you got from your institution? And the third, how do you translate your knowledge back home? You have a few seconds to respond. We are running out of time.
Challenges during travel, luckily for me, the COVID-19 period came and there was total lockdown. So there was no need to travel to the US. So it ended up being an online program. It's just that the challenge was on Zoom. My internet, and it was a whole full-day period, morning till evening. And because of the time differences between Nigeria and the US, so that was just the challenging part on the internet, but they were really kind enough to understand that I had internet challenges at times. So my group tutor himself would follow me through email, ask me to send it to him, give me personal feedback. So he was kind enough to consider my internet challenges.
Okay.
Then opportunities to step down. Okay, when I came back, I think I've been trying to provide a session. At least I've been encouraging a lot of people to go into the mixed methods research, and then also share with them opportunities. Even when the application for this year came out, I tried to get so many people to send in their applications. So I hope we'll have some successes from people.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And I think lastly, this question goes to Basira, obviously. What is it like to be an academic with a headship, because you are currently the head of the clinical pharmacy department in your institution, and at the same time being a wife and a mother? I think this is something that, it's not really easy, especially the community, the kind of community we are into. Sometimes even to get our female working, is something. So what is really the secret? Can you share so that you can maybe motivate some of our female colleagues in few seconds?
Okay, so Alhamdulillah is just all I can say. One can just, it's really stressful, especially that I live in Zaria, work in Kaduna, there's a lot of travel, but it's just that one has to just see how to cope and plan out your day, use reminders all the time, then have supportive family, have a supportive husband that will give you the opportunity to apply. If you get opportunities, get that opportunity to travel and do things. Although a lot of times when I try to apply for some things, I myself will be like, okay, I'm a female, I'm a Muslim. Sometimes I'll just be thinking, okay, I'll be traveling without a mahram. How is it? So there are a lot of challenges as a female Muslim in the North. That's just to pray and do everything wholeheartedly and be responsible in what you are doing.
Thank you so much for sharing this. I deliberately asked this question because, you know, we need to motivate our people because we need to get it right. We need to get it right, and it is possible. Thank you so much, Basira, for sharing this. So we are almost coming to the end of the program, and according to our agenda, we are now into the last part. Thank you, colleagues, for sharing your questions and comments. We have seen a lot of comments from the audience, so we are grateful. So now, may I invite the chairman of our academic planning committee in person of Dr. Shaban to give the closing remark. Dr. Shaban, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Khalid, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. It will be very brief. It's more of a thanks. You know, I want to thank each and everyone for getting the time to attend this wonderful session. And then, yeah, because part of the questions someone else asked, so I think I will just briefly make it a kind of more, sorry, I think you have to give me permission to share.
Absolutely, I'll do that.
Okay, so
it's yours now.
Okay, thank you very much. Fine. Okay. All right, I just want to briefly use this. Can you see sharing my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you use this opportunity to share who we are and where we are and what we aspire to be. You know, briefly, this is our objectives. This is from our website. We are online, so I encourage each and every one of us to the attendees. You can visit our website and see, explore so many opportunities. This is briefly, this is our objectives is to assist young researchers in conceptualization of research ideas, designing, conducting and reporting research. Like one of the questions asked by one of the participants, that how can, you know, how can he join and things like that. Try and go visit our websites and then our also YouTube channel. We share so many information, and then hopefully also we are still, you know, finalizing some things. You can also join us. So, but anything you want, the first step is to visit our website. We support young researchers on scientific writing skills or proposals, thesis, manuscript development. We guide young researchers on how to publish articles in a good journal. We support young researchers on research communications, such as conferences, oral and poster presentations, and we train young researchers on computer applications. So yeah, you can see that like what is going on. You can see so many things. This is already, you see, we've shared what we are doing now on our website. You can also visit and see. And then you can see our members and so many things there. A lot of things we're doing. Yeah, that's in brief. So kindly visit our website, kindly visit we will share it also, the YouTube channel where you can have the link. It's easier to share through YouTube. So I think briefly, that's all I have for now. Thank you once again for sparing the time And then if you have any feedback, you have our email also. We share it through the chat box. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, our Chairman, Academic Planning Committee. So colleagues, I think we have come to the end of today's presentation or webinar. I will use this opportunity to thank our panelists, Dr. Auwalu Bala and Dr. Basira, for sparing your time and sharing your valuable experiences with us. We have learned a lot, actually. I don't
sorry,
know.
I almost forgot the certificates. Okay.
Oh, yeah, the certificates. I see one person raising his hand. I don't know. Chairman, do you give him the go ahead?
Yeah, I think he can.
Shaban?
Yeah, he can while trying to, sort out the certificates. Thank you.
Okay. You can maybe unmute him, Abu Yasar Galadima.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yep. All right. He can unmute yourself. I've given him the permission.
Yeah, Abu Yasar, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. I've seen you raising your hand. Abu Yasar, can you unmute yourself?
Can you unmute him as the host?
Yeah, I tried that. We can only ask him to unmute himself. So then he can. So I've given him the permission now.
Otherwise, you can go ahead and present the certificates. And another one is raising his hand, Mursala. Wow, Yusuf.
Another one.
So can we unmute these three guys in the meantime, Dr. Shaban?
Okay, on it.
Hello.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I think trying to unmute, I muted him. Okay. Yeah, Murtala Aminu. Okay.
People are trying to talk at this time.
Yeah. Okay. Just a minute. Let's do it this way. Can we start with Murtala Aminu?
Mursala Aminu, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's having a challenge.
Okay, what about Yusuf?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam, Yusuf. How is it?
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Actually, this session has been a very educative and wonderful one. I have a question related to student research exchange. I think actually one of our panelists here, while giving us a speech, talked on student research exchange, which he said that it's not possible in Nigeria or it's not taking place. So I don't really know, is there a way we can make it possible? Because actually I'm an undergraduate who is really keen and interested with enthusiasm in research. But due to this lack of student research exchange, I'm facing some issues actually. So I don't really know if there is a way we can make this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf. Awan, can you shed light on this?
Yeah, thank you, Yusuf, for the question. Honestly, I can't give you a straight answer right now. I'm not sure if there are some exchange program between Nigerian undergraduate students and other institutions elsewhere. I know back in the days when I was in the university as undergraduate, there was such exchange between ABU Zaria and some Chinese institutions. Some Chinese students were coming to ABU to acquire some skills. And recently, I know some ABU students are going elsewhere to acquire some skills. So apart from that of ABU, I'm not sure of any. However, you can chat me up later so that we can look it up together and see if there are such opportunities. However, for postgraduate students, even if such opportunities are not like between the institutions, you can initiate one yourself. And I'm sure between you and your host, you can work out how you can visit and learn some skills from them. Thank you.
Thank you, Awal. Yusuf, I hope he answered your question. You can chat him up later and push out some things together. Dr. Shaban, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'll first of all start with Dr. Khalid Garm Mohammed. Thank you very much for moderating this session on behalf of Pharmacy Scholars Initiative. I wish to present this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Khalid Garm Mohammed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We truly appreciate.
I hope Awal Bala will not protest. You are starting with me instead of starting with the panelists.
Yeah, I'm doing it the other way around, you know.
Thank you. I really appreciate. I thank PSI for this opportunity. Yeah. Thank you so much.
We are truly grateful and indebted. Next, I think I will go with. No, I should go with Dr. Basir Lawal Kankia. Thank you very much. On behalf of Pharmacy Scholars Initiative, I wish to present this certificate of appreciation to you for being a panelist in this panel discussion on this day, 20th of February 2022. Thank you very much, Dr. Basira.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I'd also like to use this opportunity. I think I forgot to mention it earlier. We discussed about it earlier with Dr. Ibrahim Jato. It's really a great opportunity being a part of PSI and participating weekly in PSI activities. And interestingly, I used this opportunity to make an application. In November, I came across an opportunity for some training, which was under the United People Global, and using the SDGs to pitch an idea. And I used the research trainings we do at PSI and together with the ones we do at CASU, and I pitched the idea. And interestingly, just yesterday, I was accepted into the program to be one of the candidates. So it's really a great feat being in PSI, a member of PSI. Yeah.
Wow, that's really, you know, that's exciting and, you know, motivating really. Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations for sharing this wonderful experience with us. And it's quite motivating. Really. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and lastly, but not the least, Dr. Awal Bala. So on behalf of the Pharmacy Scholars Initiative, I wish to present this certificate of appreciation to pharmacist Awal Bala. We call him the snake expert, the snake charmer, the snake, you know, whatever you have to do with the snake, you know, but at least is bringing the positive side of the snake, not the negative side of the snake. So alhamdulillah, thank you very much for your outstanding contribution as a panelist on this panel discussion webinar this day, 20th of February 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman, Academic Planning Committee. We are really grateful. So finally, colleagues, we are very, very grateful. We thank you all for participating and hope to see you soon in our next webinar series by PSI.
Sorry, Dr. Khalid.
Yeah.
Hello. Sorry, before you
go
ahead. For the record, my official name is Awal Adam Bala.
Okay.
So finally, I protest.
I know it. So thank you, colleagues. We thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.